Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about making and selling candles. In today's video, is super laid back. I got my hoodie on from a place I've never been before and it's very cold outside. So I just really wanted to sit down and talk about something that I have seen a lot of questions on, both on my comments and also on my Instagram as well. And this has to do with the topic of being an introverted business owner and all the struggles that come with that. So what I decided to do was compile a list of both pros and cons and kind of explain to you guys my experience of being somebody who is not only very introverted, but also somebody who is a highly sensitive person and also an empath. So I have all of these things that make me very, very emotional and a little bit more reserved from a lot of social interaction is the best way to put it. So I wanted to jump on here and tell you guys my experience, and hopefully those of you guys that are looking to become business owners or start your own business, but you are an introvert and you're worried that that is going to hold you back, I really hope that this video kind of gives you a little bit more insight so you can look at the positive sides and how that could strengthen your business and not just the negatives. But I wanted to touch on both of those for today's video, so let's go ahead and get right on into it. So first thing I wanted to mention in this video in the very beginning is just the definition of what an introvert is. Now, I tried to look this up and I wasn't able to find a clear-cut definition. It was more just talking about traits on personality traits that could make you more of an introvert. But essentially there is an introvert and there's an extrovert. And the most general sense of the definition is an extrovert gets their energy from other people and being around other people, and an introvert gets their energy from being alone. I personally think that not everybody falls on one extreme or the other. I do think that it is more of a spectrum. So I don't think that I fall all the way over on the introverted side, because there are times where I do feel more confident being social and I can be around other people, just not for a very long time. I think that a lot of times introverts get the stigma of just being a very, very shy person, somebody who doesn't want to talk to anybody and who is just reserved and is just kind of wants to be by themselves at all times. But I don't think that that's always the case, because I do like being social. I just like being very choosy with being social, and I like to have my alone time more often than not. So now I'm going to jump right into the positive sides of being an introverted business owner. And the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is that I spend a lot of time thinking. Now, this is something that I think has helped me tremendously in my business, because it allows me to think and analyze and overanalyze, which, yes, for those of you that also do that, you are just like, but that can be a negative trait too. Very true. But if you are trying to make a decision with your business, instead of being impulsive or just trying to make a very quick decision, I am very, very particular with the way that I make decisions, and I want to overthink and think about how it is going to play out before I actually make that decision. This quality also allows me to think big picture with my business and be able to think long term in the future and kind of have a vivid picture of what I want it to look like. And it also allows me to be ridiculously honest with myself and not try to kid myself of making me become somebody that I'm not in the long term just because I want to grow my business. There are so many things that I know that I don't want to do, because I know it would put me in the position where I would feel just not myself. I would feel uncomfortable. I would feel overly anxious. It would become so far out of the box of who I was. And I know that by thinking that way in right now and thinking of it in the future is just going to help me out long term and be able to analyze myself and see what my strengths and weaknesses are and be able to play off of that. And also look at my weaknesses and be able to say, okay, how can I improve these areas that make me maybe not the best business owner, and how can I be able to improve that in the long run to be able to then improve my business. The next positive trait is something that I don't know if everybody is going to look at as a positive thing, but I will explain in the business sense. So I actually don't have a lot of friends and I never go out and do anything. And that actually helps me a lot with my business because I don't have distractions and I don't have anything that's taking me away from my business. I always have the time to work on it and it's what I love to do and it's something that I really do enjoy doing. And I think that if I was somebody who was very extroverted, had a huge group of friends and was constantly feeling that pressure to go out or spend money, that's another thing, spending money, that's something that I don't have to worry about and I can put that money, put that time into my business. And I just think when you look at it like that, it is a positive thing. Yes, I know that a lot of these, there maybe is a negative connotation with it, but in the business aspect, if you don't have those distractions and you don't feel that pressure to go out and spend money, I think that in the business sense, it's a very, very positive thing. Another positive to being an introverted business owner is the time flexibility and the freedom that you feel to be able to make your schedule on your own terms. And for those of you that also suffer with anxiety, as I do, this has helped me so much. It's so hard to even describe how much it's helped me to be able to not have to be somewhere every single day at a certain time and not have to, even if I'm going through certain emotional roller coasters or things that I'm struggling with, having to be doing something in customer service or have a meeting or something like that. And I just feel like being an introvert in this kind of environment, being an entrepreneur, being your own boss, being a business owner, whatever you want to call it, and being able to take charge of your own schedule, for me, it helps a lot because I like being in control. I love being in control. If I feel like I'm not in control, it just kind of makes me feel a little frazzled. And so I've learned that about myself, that I really do like being in control and allowing myself to be able to have the control to schedule out my day and do things my way and how I want to do it. It really, really helps me a lot. So if you guys have that trait as well, to where you kind of feel like you would prefer to have a lot more control over your day, and I know this is probably a very rhetorical statement, but if you also feel like you'd want to have the time freedom and flexibility throughout the day, then being a business owner is definitely something that you might thrive at, and it kind of takes you away from being around people all day long. And I think that that actually might be a negative for people who are more extroverted, because working from home and not being around people all the time, you might start to feel drained as an extrovert because you don't have all that energy that you can have, you can pull from other people and really kind of bounce that energy off of other people. But as introverts, we are able to basically just be in our own space. Right now, I am completely home alone. I don't feel drained. I don't feel like I need to be around people. I absolutely love it. And that is definitely a positive to being an introverted business owner, especially when you can get to the point where you are able to not work a full-time job somewhere and you're able to stay home, because that is something that I think that we as introverts can really thrive in, and we can really thrive in an environment where we are just by ourselves and able to be in our own thoughts and really just kind of work on our business. I know I mentioned earlier in this video that not only am I an introvert, but I'm also an empath and a highly sensitive person, which both of those are essentially, highly sensitive person is just kind of self-explanatory. I'm very, very highly sensitive, but not just with emotions, but also with lights and sounds, noises, things like that, things that can be just a little too overstimulating. And then an empath is essentially just somebody who takes on the emotions of other people around you. So I can physically feel. So if somebody's really upset next to me, I will just physically try to just embody what they're feeling, and it can be really draining a lot of the times. So those are two things that I actually try to think of as a positive thing. So I really try to look inward and try to see how are these things actually a positive with my business. And what I determined is that I care a lot more about my product and how my customers are viewing my product more than I do about the money that I'm making. And of course, I would be lying if I said I didn't care about the money, because of course, all business owners do. That's what we want. I of course want to make more money. I of course want to find more ways that I can make more money, but not in a way that is going to jeopardize my product and my relationship with my customers. So my integrity is going to always surpass any type of potential money that I could get. And that goes with YouTube as well. I mean, I've had so many people, you guys have no idea how many people that have sent me emails for me to talk about a product or for them to sponsor me and talk about their products on my channel. And I just look at it, I'm like, this has absolutely nothing to do with my channel. I don't use this product. I don't care how much you pay me. I'm not going to talk about it because it wouldn't benefit you guys. And if it's not going to benefit you guys, and if I don't personally use it, enjoy it, or have done an immense amount of research or know other people that have used it, I'm not going to talk about it on my channel. And I've turned down so many opportunities because it just wouldn't make sense for me and my channel. And I've also had other people, I've had this happen actually a couple times, of people wanting me to make a candle making course and sell it on their platform. So they would get a certain percentage, I would get a certain percentage, they would bring in views, whatever it is. They would send me all this data of how much money I could make. And yeah, it's a lot of money, but is it worth it to just put out a course for somebody else? I don't know. It's not me. And if I'm going to do that, which I have actually gotten more used to the idea of doing that, because I do think that I could do it in a way that I would just feel very, very proud of and confident in, and know that it would be giving the most amount of value to you guys. But I want to do it on my own terms. And that kind of goes back again to, I want to have control. I want to do it. If I want to do something, I want to do it my way. And I want to be able to be proud of the name and be proud of putting my name on that kind of product that I am putting out. Okay, so those were the positives of me looking at being an introvert and all of my qualities as a positive for my business. Now we are going to get in more of the negative side, so the cons of being an introvert in business. And the very first one that I can think of is that social media is overwhelming almost all the time. It's very overwhelming. And that is one of the main things that I hear a lot of you guys talk about, is that you don't know how to put yourself out there, you're introverted, and it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, it can be stressful, it can be anxiety inducing. And trust me, I understand all of that. And sometimes even getting myself to film a YouTube video or put up a post on Instagram can just feel so overwhelming and so draining. And replying to comments, it can just be a lot. And the main thing is just, you need to take that time for yourself. You need to take a moment, give yourself a day off. Don't try to do too much at once, which is what I try to do all the time. And just take a moment and don't think about your business, and just take a day where you don't have to reply to anything, and then get back to it again. That way you don't feel on 24/7, and then you're just draining yourself all the time from that social activity, which social media is social. I feel after I respond to a bunch of comments, I'm filming. I mean, right now I'm talking. I'm probably not going to talk for a couple hours after this, because I'm just going to overdo it and over talk and drain myself out of my socialness of talking to myself. But yeah, you just need to just take a break, take a day off, and you'll feel so much better when you get back to it. Another negative, and I actually think that this may be the biggest negative as a business owner who is an introvert, at least for me and my experience of being an introvert, is that I will turn down opportunities because it would involve being around other people, or it would put me out of my comfort zone. Even if that opportunity could grow my business, I still will turn it down or not want to do it. And to give some examples, going to a conference, like around a bunch of people, being interviewed on TV, that literally sounds like the most stressful, anxiety-inducing thing I could ever think of. I can't even imagine all the celebrities that are introverts that have to do all these interviews. I feel for you, because that sounds terrible, awful. Even the little interviews that I've done before, I haven't really enjoyed it. Kind of in certain situations, but I just feel, again, like it just puts me out of the control of the situation, and that might also have something to do with it. Something else is, I want to say last year sometime, I had somebody reach out to me to apply for a TV show. I think that Wade and Jeff Stanley also got this as well. For me, I didn't even entertain the idea. It wasn't even something that I even considered for a second. It was just immediately no. It was, wow, that'd be really cool, but that's not me. And I know that that's not me, and it would be more of a detriment to me than a positive, even if it got people knowing about my business all over the country, all over whoever would watch the TV show. To me, it wouldn't be worth it, because it would just be too much for me, and I would much rather not grow my business slower if it means that I don't have to put myself in situations that I feel incredibly uncomfortable. Unfortunately, this also means that I have a hard time with collaborations of any kind, whether that's doing a collaboration with somebody else who's a business owner and we want to do a giveaway and we want to do something like that. I haven't done that before, and I think it's just because it feels like a group project. It feels like maybe one of us would be putting in more work than the other, or it would only benefit one of us, or things like that. And same thing with YouTube collaborations. For some reason, as much as I love all the other candle making YouTubers, there's something about it where I am so in my own routine of my videos. I know when I want to film. I know most of the time when I want to post, unless it's today and I forgot, or I didn't forget, but I didn't make time to post on Thursday because I was getting ready for the market. But for the most part, I'm able to control everything and control everything that I do. And collaborations, again, it just feels like a group project to me, and it gives me a lot of anxiety. And I just remember in school, group projects were just the worst thing in the whole world. I hated them. So yeah, that I think is a detriment for my business. I think it is a negative. I think that for me, not wanting to expand and get past my anxiety and my introvertedness of just wanting or preferring to be alone most of the time, preferring to want to be in control of what I do and what I post, I think that that actually is a negative side and could potentially make my business grow slower. Another negative is that another quality I have is being a people pleaser. So if you're an introvert who's also a people pleaser, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about as business owners, because we are hyper focused on everybody liking us, everybody liking our product. And if they don't like it, it is extremely personal. It hits you deep. You feel almost personally attacked, and you feel very upset over that. And I understand completely. I understand that. And I think that the whole people pleaser thing can be a negative with business, because we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can so that people like us, and it can affect us emotionally. It can affect our anxiety. And that's actually something that I struggled with a lot in the beginning with my candle business, and also with YouTube as well. So putting up videos, and a lot of times in my earlier videos, I was more disorganized, and even in videos that should have been a little bit more concise, I wasn't. And of course, videos like this, it's just, if you don't know I'm going to talk a lot, then why are you watching this video type of thing? Like, this is a very talkative kind of video. You know, I'm not going to be super clear, concise, on point, very professional with everything that I'm saying in these kind of videos. That's not what these are for. There's definitely a time and place for that, but the kind of comments that I would get, and I still actually get comments like this, is you talk too much, you need to just get on with it, get to the point. Oh my gosh, I have so many people that say, get to the point, with like a bunch of exclamation marks. And I used to absolutely be devastated from those comments when I first started doing YouTube. And now I just kind of laugh and I'm like, okay, watch another channel. Like go watch something else. If you don't like my free content, if you don't like the free video that you're getting for free, the free information that I am providing to you, then you can go watch another channel. It's totally fine with me. You know, it's totally fine. Go find another channel. And, but because of the whole people pleaser mentality, I was very close to deleting certain videos because I'm like, I talk too much, I can't talk too much. And I began to get overwhelmed with it. And in videos that I was filming, and I still feel this way. Actually, there's been a couple points in this video where I'm like, dang it, I need to cut that out. I need to stop talking. I need to cut this short. And it just kind of gives you, it gives you a little bit more understanding that so many people are different and people like different things. Some people want to click on a 3-minute video, hear the general points of the topic, and move on. Other people want to listen to a 45-minute video of me rambling on about whatever the topic is. And that's why I make so many different kinds and styles of videos, because there's so many different styles of videos that people like. And all of those styles are also styles that I like. And that's what I just learned along the way, is that I just need to be myself. And if people like me, they like me. And if they don't, they don't. And that is a mindset that you need to have with your business as well. If people like your product, they like your product. If they don't like your product, they don't like your product. Not everybody is going to like everything that you create and everything that you put out. And that just kind of is the way it is. Whether that's friends, family members, anything like that. If they don't like your product and they don't want to buy, don't take it personally, because they might just not be the individual or the market that you are going for. There could be a bunch of other people around the country, around the world, that love your product, and you just need to get it into their hands. And the last negative that I wanted to talk about before I stop talking in this video is that I feel like my introvertedness allows me to have this fear of growing, in the sense that I'm afraid of growing to the point where I need to hire people. That really scares me, and I'll tell you guys why. I have never been somebody that has wanted to manage people, be a boss, be a manager. I had to be an assistant manager for a little while, and it's not a role that I like. I like being in charge of myself and having that role. I do like that, but I think it's because I'll only be letting myself down. I don't want to let anybody else down. I don't want to let anybody else down if I'm, not good at being a boss, not good at being a manager. And I know so many people are like, oh my gosh, you'd be great. Like, what are you talking about? But the thing is, when you're a people pleaser, you want people to like you. Sometimes that's not a good trait when you are a boss or a manager. Sometimes you need to be able to have hard conversations. You need to be able to be confrontational, which I am not. So there's just certain things with that I am almost okay with not growing that big if it means that I don't have to hire people. And I may change in the future with how I feel about that, but as of right now, I definitely think, I don't know if I would want to hire people because I don't know if I'd want to put myself in that role. I know that as soon as you hire people, you are almost promoting yourself to another role. And I don't know if I would be ready for that. I don't know if my introvertedness would be ready for that. I don't know if my anxiety would be ready for that. I don't know if my people-pleasing capabilities would be ready for that. So that is just kind of the thoughts that I have in my head. And that is just all of the things that I wrote down to share with you guys today, the positives, the negatives, my experience with being an introvert as a business owner, and telling you guys that you can do it. You can absolutely be an introvert. And there are so many strengths that you can take into that position. And being able to think inward, being in your mind and being able to self-analyze and see your strengths and weaknesses, I think is a strength in and of itself. That quality to do that is definitely a strength. And I want you guys to know that no matter where you want to take your business, what you want to do, you can do it, and you can overcome things that you've never even imagined, never even thought that you'd be able to do. But I think that I've talked about all that I wanted to talk about in today's video. If you guys liked today's video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Whew. Can't wait to turn all these lights off.